Wilson Miles, Black from TV, Elizabeth. Did you ever think you'd be playing this role over and over again for a long period of time?
I mean, I knew the first two because I thought, well, they'll have to do a third one, but I had no idea we were ever going to do another one after that. I'm pretty sure Tim said never again. It's a lot of makeup, but they got the makeup down, they figured it out, and like I was completely surprised that we were doing it, yet at the same time, falling back into Carol was like flying. It was so easy. It was such a joy to do. Easy is not the right word because, of course, acting always has all the things in the parts, but a joy, a true joy, is 100% accurate.
And what about you, Austin? You're joining this franchise. You're joining someone who's been around for both films, previously that goes back, different generations will know who she is. What's it like coming in playing the son?
It was a little daunting at first because I was such a big fan, so I'm thinking I have to do this show justice. And I got some big shoes to fill and Charlie as a son, but it was so much fun and everyone just made it the most happy work environment ever. And it was just fun meeting everyone for the first time too, because these are people I've been watching for years and years and years. And it was so much fun, and they made the whole like process so easy for me just because everyone here had known each other for years, and it was just fun to be a part of like the Claus family. It was awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're so good. You're such a good partner.
Elizabeth, did you have to take a refresher course and rewatch the movies, before you got back into the saddle? And how often do you and Tim talk?
So Tim and I talk when we do things, and Tim and I love each other, right? Like we've always been nuts about each other. We never had anything but just joy. Like I'm crazy about him. I'm crazy about his wife. Now I'm crazy about his daughter. So for us, it was so easy to fall back into that rhythm. I mean, the rhythm is basically Tim is saying something and I'm laughing, and then my stomach starts to hurt, and then sometimes I'm on the ground, and sometimes I'm saying you have to stop. But that's Tim. And then having grown up kids was fun because it changed that dynamic. It changed, all of us then were bouncing off of each other, and I think we laughed. I feel like we laughed pretty much the whole time. Everybody had their own way. Austin and I are kind of the golden retrievers. We are just kind of like running around, making sure that everybody's happy, excited to be there. But I do think, it was a joy. I wish I could say something more textured, but that's it.
Is it a different feeling knowing it's a series as opposed to a film, where at least now you get to know more of the actors and the characters?
Yeah. What do you think, Austin?
Thank you. I think we get to add more layers to all the characters, and we get to have more time for like background and more like different storylines going into the lives of everybody, because it's a big operation. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong. We got the entire North Pole, and
Yes.
we really dive into everybody.
I did. Yeah, I had far more to do than I've ever had to do as Mrs. Claus. I've always had such a joyful time, and been so enjoyed being part of that magical framework. But I had a tremendous amount to do this time. We got to dive in a little bit deeper, and I loved it.
Well, I'm sure fans all over will getting a kick. Will be getting a kick to watch you guys come back again. New adventures, new storylines. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Beautiful questions.
Wilson Miles from Black Human TV. It's good to see everybody back here. So for the three of you, how many of you went back to start watching the original film before you took this role? Matilda?
I absolutely did. I've been watching the movies a couple of years now, and then when I got the audition, I was like, I have to get a refresher on these. So I watched all three, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the North Pole. I have to try my best in these auditions, because I was like so set on seeing what it was like meeting Tim Allen and just being a part of that special story. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And the
Are you,
night
Devin?
that
I also went back and watched all three, just to make sure that I remembered everything and remember how everything worked. But it was so cool seeing those movies come to life when I actually got onto set, that it was like I felt like I was actually in the North Pole. So it was really, really fun.
And what about you, Rupali?
it was really fun because the moment I got the audition, I tried my best to be in it. And the night that I got the call to be in it, I was so excited that it blew my mind. Because I had no idea how magical it would be to be on the set of this. It feels like the fourth Santa Claus.
For each of you,
And I only watched the first one, but I am planning on watching the second and third soon.
for you, Matilda, when you take on this role, how do you relate to the character?
It's like at first glance, it might be difficult to relate to my character because she's 1,000 years old. But I feel personally, I've always felt like older than my age. I've always not really fit in with the kids my age. And I can speak on both Devin and I's behalf. I think we both relate to this. We kind of both feel like we're a bit older than our ages sometimes. So it wasn't that hard for me to relate to her in that way. And then in the way of like, she's very orderly, she's very organized, doesn't have much humor. That was a bit more of a stretch for me because I love to laugh, but I had a lot of fun.
And what about you, Devin? Being Santa's helper comes with a lot of tasks and responsibilities. Were you up for the challenge?
I was. Noel, my character Noel is, super fun, energetic, fun-loving. Loves Santa, thinks he's Santa's best friend. And I feel like I'm always a fun-loving person outside of set and, just energetic. And so I feel like I relate to my character a lot. Like Matilda said, I am playing an 1,000-year-old elf, but I already feel older than I actually am. So it didn't really feel like it was hard to become Noel.
And I had a lot of fun. And I do relate to the character some and in a lot of ways actually, because I play the harp, and in some of the scenes I might be playing the harp, and I'm Blindian. My mom is Black and my dad is Indian, and so is my character, which is really fun, and I can relate to that a lot.
At the end of the day, when you're telling your friends that you're about to be in this movie, does anybody need to watch the original movies to get this movie, or can you just watch it as it is? Matilda?
Honestly, I think you can absolutely just watch this as it is because it kind of starts off with its own plot, but of course it has the same elements from the original franchise. So I'd say if you can watch the original franchise, go ahead. You will not regret it. But if you can't get to it, don't worry about it and just watch the series.
Yeah, and there are some additional characters from the miniseries that are not in the Santa Claus. So you definitely don't have to watch the Santa Claus, but you should because it's a really fun movie still. But you don't have to watch it to watch the miniseries, the Santa Claus.
Congratulations to all three of you. Great gigs, great roles. I'll talk to you guys down the road. Take care.